We'll chant the Mangalacharana prayer of first, chant 6 Ashtakam, then we'll get on. It is very important. It is a beautiful explanation. We need to understand the context. Actually, Chaitanya Charitamrita is such a topic that as you more and more you hear first, before you read this book, you hear from others who have read many times. Then you can actually relish each and every chapter is like a nectar only. It's much more nectar than Bhagavad Gita, much more nectar than Srimad Bhagavatam. One who is going deep and deep in the association of devotees, hearing from Sarvabhauma, hearing from other advanced devotees, we will relish it so much. It's like a what in Srimad Bhagavatam, the second verse says, or third verse says, like a drinking. What is that verse? Nigama kalpataror galitam palam amruta drav. Pibata bhagavatam rasamale mohoroho rasikbhav. It's even much more nectar. It is. And this topic is also actually really nectar. If we understand the context in which this is happening, and this is also right time, exactly. This context, this particular discussion between Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is happening exactly at the time of Lord Jagannath's Snana Yatra and Radha Yatra only. And we are just about to have Lord Jagannath Radha Yatra June 8th, the first Radha Yatra, June 29th, Atlantic City, and then Jagannath Snana Yatra, June 22nd. So we are exactly right on the topic. Beautiful discussion and beautiful context also in which this particular case was presented by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and how he has been delivered. So anyone who is hearing this topic, we all have so many isms and philosophies in our head. We are bringing Mayavad, we are bringing impersonalism, we are bringing Buddhism, we are bringing so many isms. So if one is attentively, absorbedly hearing with a simple heart, then all those isms can be purified and we can come to the path of liberation and attain perfection. And that is the result of this particular chapter. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has attained it, we can also attain it. We follow in the footsteps of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is one of the biggest brands of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is not an ordinary devotee. He is a great scholar. We'll come to that, but let us take shelter before to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Otherwise, we can't understand it. I will forget. You will also not get anything if you don't take shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Let us start with that. Ajanulambit bhujo kanakavadato sankirtanaikapitaro kamalaya taksho Visvambaro Dvijavaro Yugadharmapalo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Anandalila Naigrahai Hemavati Vicha Visundarai Tasmai Mahapremarasattadai Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Chaitanya Chandraya Namo चेतो दर्पणमाध्यमं भव महादावाग्निर्वापणम् श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधू जीवनम् आनन्दं बुधिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतस्वादनं सर्वात्मा स्नपनं पदं विजयते श्रीकृष्ण संकीर्तनम् नामकारि बहुधा निज सर्वशक्ति तत्रार्पिता नियमिता स्मरणेन काल एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमीदृशी जनिनानुराग त्रिनादपि सुनिचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना नमानि नामानतेन Caitanya Sadahari. As this pastime is gets go more and more deep, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya becomes from impersonalist great scholar, logician of Nyaya and Vedanta philosophy, gradually converts into devotee. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives instruction, then he gives Jagannath Prasad without even brushing the teeth. He's so much into rules. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made him eat And then next time, second time, he made him chant the holy names of Hare Krishna. What is the best thing? What I should do? He said, just chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So the very important process as in Sikshastram, through Sikshastram, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also instructing here to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, same thing, Jagannath Prasadam, taking the holy names of the Lord, and he blesses. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya gives different name of the Lord in the Mayavad philosophy, Namo Narayan, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives him blessings of Krishna. Like we learn from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we learn from Prabhupada throughout Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is the blessings we use always. We pray for others with these blessings. We'll come to that verse. So, Trinadapi Sunuchena Taror, but he's very humble. Even though he's a great scholar, he was so humble. So humble. He was serving Lord Jagannath. So of course, he had mercy. But he was so humble that he served Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He served all his associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's why he was able to deliver very quickly also. So this is a pastime, but also you can see that the service attitude is supremely important. Supremely important. And the instructions of, in the context, we will see that the instruction between before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructing, there is a discussion, conversation between Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Gopinath Acharya. That is also very important. The devotee and those who are, and the Mayavad or other philosophies, how the conversation goes on, how the mercy goes on, then Lord's mercy comes in. So that also we'll see in this particular pastime. This humility is very important. So then naturally, especially by the association of devotees, naturally we can get that mercy. Trinadapi Sunuchena Tarorapi Sai Namanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sada Nadanam Najanam Nasundarin Kavitam Vajakadisha Kame Mama Janmani Janmani Isvare Bhavatat Bhakti Rahi Tuki Ainam Tatanja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Krupaya Tava Pada Pankaja Stita Duri Sadrusam Vichintaya Nayanam Garadasrudaraya Vadanam Gadgadarudaya Gira Pulakai Nichitam Vapo Tapanama Grahanena Bhavishyati Yugayutam Nimeshena Chakshusha Pravrusayutam Sunyayitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahena Me Sunyayitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahena Me Sunyayitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahena Me Asleshavam Padaratam Pinastumam Adarshanam Varmahatam Karotuva Yata Tadavatu Vidadatu Lampato Matpranadastu Zaivanapuraham Matpranadastu Zaivanapuraham Matpranadastu Zaivanapuraham. Third instance, by the time, by prasadam, by chanting of the holy name, he has come to the pure devotion. Third step, he wanted to change the verse of Srimad Bhagavatam where it says, Mukti Pade. No, I don't like this Mukti Pade. I want to change it. Then all the devotees became very pleased. Now, by the mercy of Gopinath Acharya and devotees, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, finally he became a pure devotee. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya became from Mayavadi, he became a pure devotee. So we also can become. That is the result of reading and listening and understanding this particular pastime. So, and there are 2-3 more verses in this Mangalacharan also. It's a beautiful verse. This is chapter 6. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhyalila, chapter 6 gives the context of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu meeting. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is previously is Brahaspati, is the son of a Mahesh Visharad, who is a very close associate of Nilambra Chakravarti. They used to live in the same place, Nadia, Mayapur Dham, very close by. And they used to have two sons. One is Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, title Vasudev Sarvabhauma. The other one is Vidya Vachaspati or Madhusudan Vachaspati. I think later on we see that Vidya Vachaspati. Brothers Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs for both of them two different instructions later on. And then Sarvabhauma Bhatta later on, this is in the beginning, and then he studied in Mithila in Bihar under another great scholar, all the Nyaya, logic. He by hearted the whole thing, everything in his memory. He can speak any verse from Vedas, Vedanta Sutra without even looking at it. And that is his scholarship. And then Prataprudra brought him in, and then he was appointed as a great scholar and to manage Lord Jagannath Puri temple. Then he stayed there. So that's where his house is. It is called Markandeya Sarasata. Is exactly on the beach, on the southern side of the Jagannath Puri temple. That's where the Sarvabhauma. That is where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been. As soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was there in Jagannath Snan Yatra, just happened, and Lord Jagannath going into Anavasar, transcendental sickness. Then Lord Jagannath went to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Alarnath, and then he came rushing just on the first darshan. Netra Utsav, different names are there. So the first darshan of the Lord, so he came running, running to take Jagannath Dekile, Prema Avishta Hoila. Then he fainted. You want to actually hug Lord Jagannath, and before itself, he fainted. So there has exhibited ecstatic symptoms. There Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing the Nitya Siddha Bhaktas ecstatic symptoms from all the way from there are 5 levels has been shown. So the last one is Sudipta. So Sudipta. Sudipta means all the 8 symptoms of Asta Sattvic which are multiplied by 1,000 times. And this can only be exhibited by eternally liberated Nitya Siddha Bhakta, not conditioned, but always eternally liberated. Only that personalities can exhibit these ecstasies. Then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, when he becomes fainted, these associates of Jagannath Puri temple, they're ready to beat him. Then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya Karilan Nimantran. So he forbade them. Then he saw his ecstasy, his aura and everything. He could understand. Then he took personally the charge and he took some of the disciples. He has his own disciple, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, such a great scholar. And then took Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then personally served him, and took him to his home. So very close to the temple, as I mentioned. And then he served him there. And then he was testing him because he almost fainted, no symptoms. Then he took a cotton swab and put him on nostrils. He could see, sense his breathing is there. And then in the meantime, then Lord Nityananda and all those, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so in anxiety to see the Lord Jagannath that he came rushing. So before Nityananda Prabhu, before all other Mukunda Datta and other devotees. By the time they came, all this happened. So many people are standing and so much commotion was going. Then they asked what happened. Then they found out. So then they came to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. And then they saw Jagan. Then they always started chanting, Haribol, Haribol. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu woke up. So that is then in the meantime, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya sent all the devotees to take darshan and take his bath and come and take prasadam. He served all of them. He took the dust before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he is about to wake up, he took his dust, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dust of the lotus feet. He could understand he's not ordinary personality. Even though he was Mayavas, but he still has. Of course, he's Gopinath Acharya is Lord Brahma, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is Brahaspati. They're not ordinary personalities, of course. So Gopinath Acharya is, Lord. So, yeah, Gopinath Acharya, I think Tunga Vidya. So one more person is Lord Brahma, forgetting. But anyway, so then when they went to take darshan, Lord Nityananda Prabhu also becomes like almost like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He becomes fainted also, almost. Then devotees have to catch him and study him up. Then they offer him, the devotees, associates of Lord Jagannath, offer him a garland. So then they come back to take prasad. Then they offer so many hundreds of items. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I want only simple items, lapra venjam, boiled vegetables with only salt, black pepper, tadka, that's all. Not so much elaborate. You feed everybody else. But Sarvabhauma says, no. This is the first time you're all coming. You have to take everything. This is all Jagannath. I didn't cook anything. This is all Jagannath prasadams you should take. So they all considered it. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took so as well. And then later on, in the 48th verse, we'll see in the 6th chapter that so, then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya addressing him, Namo Narayan, Namaskar Karila. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya saying, then Krishnera Mati Rastu Baliya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said completely differently. So may you be attained Krishna, may you remember Lord Krishna. Krishna Matrastu. This is the blessing. This is the prayer we always follow. Krishna Matrastu, Krishna Ratir, Krishna Ratirastu. Krishna Seva Ratirastu. Always be in the service of Krishna. That instruction is also there in this particular chapter. In the instruction of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Those who are not doing attached to the service, they still have some kind of impersonal Mayavad aspect. But devotees always they should be attached to the service of the Lord and Guru and devotees. That is also there in one of the instructions in this particular chapter. A very important point. So otherwise it's not possible. Then in the meantime, after this happened, then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya asking Gopinath Bhattacharya, who is this personality? Is very divine. I want to know his previous background. Who was he before? Then he reveals, yes, he's actually from Nadia. He is son of Purandar Mishra. His surname is Purandar Mishra, Jagannath Mishra Purandar. So, and his father was Nilambar Chakravarti. Oh, then I know. So he's from the same village because he moved. Vidyanagar is the place which is in Nadia district. And then he went to study in Bihar but came back to Navadvip. That's where Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was there. His father Mahesh Visharda was there, and Nilambar Chakravarti, Jagannath Mishra was there, or Vishrambar Rai, Gaur Rai was there. So they're all basically in the same place, same village. So and then Gopinath Acharya further says, then that he took sannyas from Keshav Bharati. Oh, then he's he's also sannyasi. Then why is he not reading Vedanta class? Then why is he's second class sannyasi? He's not first class. Keshav Bharati is second class. I can make him first class. This is where it begins. Then Gopinath Acharya became so, upset, so angry. He is directly the Lord himself. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. How can you say that he has taken? That is just a formality. He doesn't need to take sannyas from anybody. He himself is the Lord. So then he quotes, yes, you cannot understand this because you are based on the scholarship, based on austerity, based on all these things. You can never understand who is the Supreme Lord. It is not possible. Unless you receive the mercy of the Lord and his devotees, then he quotes the verses. Atapi te deva padambujadvayam janapi tattvam prasada lesanugraha eva janahi tattvam bhagavan charan vichan. At least you have to get a slight trace of the mercy of the Lord and through his devotees. Then you can understand. Until that point, you can never understand through your scholarship, through your austerity, through your so many other things you can understand. So then that argument gets over. Then finally, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no. He's sannyasi. I have come to specifically to take your association. Take your association. You are a great scholar. I want to become your servant. So I want to listen from you. This is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu submitted. Then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, okay, let me speak Vedanta. So that's how this is the context in which this is happening. Okay, so that we understand. Every verse is so beautiful jewel. The beginning verse itself, you can see the Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami saying, putting the beautiful verse. Naomi Krishna Chandra Yo Kutarka Karkasayam. This personality is Sarvam Bhattacharya. Sarvabhaumam Sarva Bhutani Bhakti Bhumna Acharya. That means I will offer my obeisance to Naomi, offer my own Gaura Chandra to that personality who has converted the person who is completely kutarka. So many arguments. We meet so many people all over the world. Then, if you speak from Bhagavad Gita, they will give different argument. Anything you speak from Vedanta, Sutra, Vedanta, Vedic scriptures, they will give all kinds of arguments. So same thing here. Also, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya he is giving arguments to Gopinath Bhattacharya. Not only him and all his disciples. How can you say that he is Supreme Lord? He is already quoting, but still now they want to give different arguments. So this is so that's why he has converted here. First verse he is quoting in the 6th chapter of Madhya Lila. Kutarka Karkasa, his heart is so hard. No one else can convert. Only the Lord and his pure devotees can. To that personality, Lord has offered his supreme mercy. Kutarka Karkasayam Sarvabhauma Sarvabhutani. She is all living entities. He gives mercy. That personality, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord, Supreme Lord, Bhakti Bhumna, he has made him a pure devotee. He has made him from all the way from hard-hearted devotee to great devotee. Bhakti Bhumna. He became expert in bhakti. After he converted him. This is how he begins this particular chapter. Then he goes on further. And then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has been explained after later on. You'll see that once he become converted devotee, then he asks Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to instruct. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives instructions on the Atma Ram verse, which is from Srimad Bhagavatam. 18 different ways, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains. The same verse is explained to Sanatana Goswami in 51 ways or 61 ways. That is in later on chapter 20. That is also another beautiful chapter. 23rd chapter, ultimate goal of life in Sanatana section. This is there. So you can understand how much when he is especially in the top, more the devotees in higher and higher stage, more Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also gives the revelation, more revelations. Because Sanatana Goswami is even more deep into ecstatic stage of bhakti. So that's why you could reveal even more. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I don't know. What I spoke in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, I don't know. So what I spoke. But I can speak now because I am in your association. Now I can speak. By your mercy, by your association, I can speak something. So this is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching that is revealing what is the essence. What is the essence of all this bhakti is the pure devotee, association of the pure devotee. That's where everything becomes condensed and the bhakti can be released. You will get ecstatic ecstasy in the great happiness, great relishment. This hearing also, same thing is mentioned in this particular chapter and the Atma Ram verse chapter. That also in the association of pure devotee, this must be heard. This particular transcendental knowledge must be heard. In this way, the chapter begins. Let us read paragraph to paragraph, then we'll come to that again, this particular topic. So, which paragraph it was ended? Similar problem, do you know? Or we can begin anywhere. Anyone know? Which particular 24th chapter, part 1, I know someone has covered, I think, yesterday. We'll begin here. I can't do the Upanishad. My dear sir, the Lord replied, as far as Vedanta Sutra itself is concerned, before that, 2 verses one must know. From Bhagavad Gita's foundation knowledge, before the chapter begins, 2 verses one must know. Because he is talking about Mayavada philosophy, which is Brahman realization. Brahman realization has 2 aspects. So, one is the proper realization, that is the Brahmavadis. The other one is the Mayavadis. That means you are Narayan, I am Narayan. They cannot even enter into the Brahma Jyoti, Brahman effulgence either. But they are at that level. So for that understanding, in Bhagavad Gita, 2 times it is there. Lord Krishna himself is instructing. 13th chapter, 14th chapter. The last 6 chapters is very important on philosophy aspect, strong. 14.27, Lord Krishna himself is mentioning. Brahmanoham pratisthaham. So that I am the source of Brahman effulgence. I am the source. Amurta asya avyavasya cha. It is immortal, imperishable, sasvatasya cha. Further it goes. So it is eternal, immortal, imperishable. That is the Brahman effulgence. But I am the source. That means personal form, Paramatma form, Brahman effulgence. So those personal form, supreme, ultimate realization is the topmost. From him only this impersonal. This Brahman effulgence is also coming from me. Lord Krishna is mentioning this in 14.27. Last verse of the 14th chapter. It's very important. Prabhupada quotes so many places. The second verse, which is also important, 13th chapter, Nature Enjoyer Consciousness, where Lord Krishna himself, whenever he is explaining, he always quotes. He is also quoting. I think verse number, I forget the exact verse number. Brahma Sutra Padai Cheva Hetu Madbir Vinishchita. That means everything, so based on Chandovir, Rishabir Gita. So the many sages, many personalities have quoted this based on the Vedanta Sutra, Vedanta aphorisms from the Vedic knowledge. Brahma Sutra Padai Cheva Hetu Mat. Everything has cause and effect, and one must know this by Brahma Sutra, Vedanta Sutra. And Srimad Bhagavatam is the natural commentary on Vedanta. So this is the way we have to know everything based on the Vedic knowledge. Reference must be there for everything we understand. Under the association of people, that is the key. 13th chapter also that is mentioned. The 18 different departments, verse number 8 to 13. So then in that particular one verse is there. Maicha Ananya Yogena. So unalloyed devotion. And then surrender to spirit. Those two are the key. All those 18 principles cannot be understood if that principle is not there. One is not looking to come to the Ananya Bhakti through surrender to spiritual master, then all other knowledge is waste. So that is the key. Then we can understand, because Vedanta Sutra is these particular 2 verses has to be understood. My dear sir, the Lord replied, as far as Vedanta Sutra itself is concerned, I can understand the meaning quite well, but I cannot understand your explanation. There is nothing difficult about understanding the meaning of the original aphorisms of the Vedanta Sutra. What is the first aphorism of Vedanta Sutra? Janmadhyasyata. Srimad Bhagavatam begins with that. That means creation, maintenance, destruction. Conjugal rasa, all the rasas, conjugal rasa, Santa rasa, Dasa rasa, Sakira, Vatsala, Mother. Daso Vaisa, Rasa Sekara, Rasaraj. That is Lord Krishna. Everything is coming. That is the first Vedanta. Atato Brahma Jignasa. One must inquire about the absolute truth. Jivasa Tattva Jignasa. All these are the Vedanta sutras. There are many sutras, but these are the coded, which has great, elaborate descriptions. That's what, when we say Vedanta Sutra, at least we should know. So just only 3-4 words together, one line it forms. So that is what? Atato Brahma Jignasa, Jivasa Tattva Jignasa, Janmadhyasya Yataha. So all these are the Vedanta Sutras. There is nothing difficult about understanding. But the way you explain them obscures the real meaning. You do not elucidate the direct meaning, but imagine something and thus obscure the true meaning. I think that your particular doctrine you are trying to expound through the aphorisms of the Vedanta Sutra. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started discussing Sarvabhauma bhattacarya, then he started describing 7 days. So then he went on, he didn't say utter a single word. Then he was puzzled why this person is not saying anything, not revealing anything. He has questions, he has understood or not understood what's happened. Then when he asked, then he revealed, yes, I understand him. There is nothing difficult about it. The only problem is the way you explained in this particular paragraph, as it mentioned. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started explaining about the actual real meaning of the transcendental subject matter, absolute truth. That is a famous word. That also we should know. 1:11, I think. Yeah, 1:11. Canto 1, chapter 1. What is the was question by the sages, I think. Verse number 11. Or 1 to 11, I think. 1 to 11. Canto 1, creation. Chapter 2, divinity and divine. Divinity and what is the chapter title? I forget. The verse number 11. Vadanti tattva vedas tattvam yat gnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwaniti sabdayate. There are three levels of realization of this absolute truth. First one is the impersonal, that means sun rays. And then second one is Paramatma. Vadanti tattva vedas tattva means truth. Tattva is, means philosophy you can say, but it's truth. Tattva vedam tattvam yad gnanam advayam brahmeti paramatma bhagwan iti sabdayate. Paramatma is second realization, like sun planet. Third one is sun god, Vivaswan, like that. Supreme personality god, personal form. That is ultimate. That is personal form. That is the main, the topmost. From whom everything is coming. That's why in this particular chapter, later on you will see in Sanskrit term, same thing explains ablative, causative, locative. Ablative means the person thinking, feeling, willing. We have it. Otherwise, first before you do anything, first your mind is thinking, and then you have a feeling, then there's willing, then your acting is happening. Then who is doing that? If somebody is, there's a Lord is first desiring. That living entity has a desire, then Lord is thinking, oh, I should do. Thinking, feeling, willing. That is ablative. So then the second aspect, then designing aspect. First is desiring, then the next is designing aspect. That is becoming a causative. So he is the ultimate cause, that's it. Then the third aspect is then he has to be there in order for the universe just to float. So even though he's designing it, but impersonally through his energy, he is the energetic, he has to give the energy so that it can sustain, the universe can float with all the oceans, mountains, and the whole 14 planetary systems, huge, so enormous globe. So that's all, all the three aspects in different ways, different terminologies used, but it's more or less same thing. Brahman effulgence, and then Paramatma realization, Brahman realization, Paramatma realization, and Bhagavan realization. So that what we have to understand. Vedanta Sutra. According to there are 108 Upanishads. The year Prabhupada is quoting. The first Upanishad is Isha Upanishad. That is the foremost important. There also the two aspects are mentioned. Most of the Upanishads, not only in Vedanta Sutra, even in the Quran, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's why Chaitanya Charitamrita is so powerful. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a chapter, I think, 25. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing Pathan soldiers, Muslim soldiers. There is instructing about Quran. There is clearly talking about personal form. Even in Quran, it talks about the personal form. But most of the people only know about the impersonal. Otherwise, you are offering obeisance. Whom are you offering obeisance? Without any person, why will you offer obeisances? You are following now, but that means somebody knows. Whoever has started in the beginning, if you are offering obeisance, that means you have personality is there. Then only you will offer obeisance. Otherwise, why will you offer? Why will you do namaz? So yes, they agreed. Yes, there is a personal, but most of the people only know about the impersonal. So in pretty much all the shastras, the personal is there. Christianity, most of them have the personal form. Very few only has the impersonal. Later on, it is diverted. All of them now more and more becoming impersonal. But otherwise, the personal aspect is there in most of the these doctrines. So that we have to realize. So that according to even the Upanishads also, most of the Upanishads have explanation of both. So even the demigod worship is there, but actually even the ultimate worship is also mentioned. But by the time they understand that, they are done. They think demigod, anything and everything is same, but it is not so. According to the Mandaka Upanishad, Muktika Upanishad, sorry, there are 108 Upanishads. Among these are Isha Upanishad, Kena Upanishad, Katha Upanishad. So Prabhupada has specifically translated Isha Upanishad because that is the foremost. Out of 108, foremost Upanishad is Isha Upanishad. And the remaining you will see in Bhagavad Gita purports, Kena Upanishad, Katha Upanishad, like Uttishta Varan Nibodha, Jagrat Varan Nibodha. You must wake up, become focused in understanding the absolute truth that is there. I think Jayat Maharaj is trying to translate one of the Upanishad. I think Kena or Katha Upanishad. I'm not sure if it is finished or not. Hopefully, we'll get soon. Prasna Upanishad, Mundak Upanishad, Mandukya, these two also Prabhupada quotes many places. The verse related to the spiritual master, surrendering to spiritual master. That verse is quoted from this two Upanishad. Taittiriya Upanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad also quoted in Bhagavad Gita. It is Brahadaranyaka Upanishad, Brahma Upanishad, Kaivalya Upanishad, Jabala Upanishad, Svetaswata, that is also Ma Hanyate Hanyamane Sari. And that was Svetaswata Upanishad is quoted in many places. Hamsa Upanishad, Aruneya Upanishad, Garbha Upanishad, Narayana Upanishad. The 108 Upanishad contain all knowledge about the absolute truth. Upanishad, Upavas. That means the knowledge by which you can come close to the Lord. That's what Upanishad means. All these Upanishads are giving knowledge by which it's a shorter versions. Many of them are shorter versions. It's not elaborate text. It gives a summary study. That's why before Bhagavad Gita, we generally, because each Upanishad gives the shorter text of at least the foundation. It gives a basic summary. So in each Upanishad also is there the same. What Sarvabhauma bhattacarya is struck with that Brahman effulgence, the impersonal aspect. That also is Upanishad talks. Hiranmayena patrena satyasya apadam tattvam pushan apapuram. There is a verse. But in same run, it says that remove this curtain of layer of deluding I'm not able to see you. Not able to understand your actual real form, real knowledge, real truth. It is being covered. Please remove it. Submitting to the Lord. Vision, guidelines, prayers. These 18 verses are divided into 3 sections. In that, one of the verses under this prayer section, this verse is there. Is submitting. Please remove this. Then only we can understand the actual real truth. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in the impersonal aspect only. So, like that, each and every Upanishad is talking about both. Most of the Upanishads are talking about. In the Puranas also, but we accept those Puranas which are talking about Visuddha Sattva, pure goodness. We don't read, that's why we have other Bhagavatam, also other Puranas. We don't read all those. So, that's why we have to follow under a Vaishnava Sampradaya, 4 bona fide Sampradaya. We have to look at their commentaries. If at all we are reading any books, we have to read those books only, not any others. Otherwise, then our mind will be diverted into something else, which is not a good thing. So that we have to be very careful when we look at some other books. Sometimes people ask why Vaishnavas use 108 prayer beads of chanting the holy name. We think it is because there are 108, there are many meanings. Here Prabhupada is explaining. 108 Upanishads containing full knowledge of the absolute truth. On the other hand, some Vaishnava transcendentalists think that the 108 beads represent the 108 companions of Lord Krishna in his rasa dance. Like that. And each bead is the touching, you're massaging the lotus feet of the Lord, as in Namastaka by Rupa Goswami. Nikila Sruti Ratnam Aladuti Nirajat Pada Pankajanta Ayimukta Kulair Upasramam Harinam Iti Harinam Samshrami, taking shelter of the holy name. So is also personality, Nama Prabhu. Lord Chaitanya protested against misinterpretations of the Upanishads, rejecting any explanation which did not give their direct meaning. So that's why in Atmaram verse is explaining about Muni. Where most of the Muni sages also explain their own doctrines. They don't give the right, and that's why this particular chapter and that Atmanam chapter is explaining. In the association, you should understand. Otherwise, you will come up with your own. Tarka apratishta srutayo vibhinna naso munidhyas matam na vinnam tattvasya mahajanasya yena gata dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhaya. This tarka means logic and argument. You can keep on. You will never go. You can never resolve anything. If you use logic and argument, unless you put a shastra and you explain with examples where the bona fide acharya has given, then logic and argument can never end. You will go on, no, you can never attain the supreme. There cannot be any transformation with logic and argument. Just no use. Both sides, no use. So that is the point here that Mahaprabhu is making. So Tarka has to be given up. The direct, on the basis of the scriptures, on the based on the Sampradaya Acharya, you can argue and defeat and prove from what Sampradaya Acharya has said, not based on the some others. Then it is not going to be useful. The direct interpretation is called Abhida Vritti, whereas the indirect interpretation is called Lakshana Vritti. The indirect interpretation serves no purpose. There are four kinds of understanding. So this is many times Prabhupada explains this in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita also. Direct understanding, which is Pratyaksha, means what you see is what you believe. Show me God, then only I can believe. It is like that. What your eyes can see. When you become 50 years old, 60 years, your eyes cannot even see many things. No longer you need eyeglasses also. Then what you just simply see and you understand everything. You can't understand many things. So that is Pratyaksha is not going to work. Hypothetical understanding, Anuma, that means it may be like this, it may be. That also is not a great proposal. Second, third one, historical understanding, I think here. Historical, yes. Sometimes historically, somebody has started as some of the sannyasis giving the examples. Prabhupada has given something, then somehow or the other through history, somebody has changed this, and then that change is still continuing. So it is like that history. So, some of them are natural example, like grandmother has done it, we have done it. So there's a real things. But there are some other things which are somehow or the other carried away. And it has no bearing, no significance based on the Vedic culture. So those things has to be given up. It has no purpose and no use in relation with the Supreme Lord especially. So that we have to see. That the historical understanding also has not much value if it is not actually in line with Sadhu Shastra too, then we have to give up. Fourth one, the understanding through the sound. This is the real thing. Shabda. Of these four, because this material world is created with Shabda. First is sound vibration. So that sound vibration has come from the Supreme Lord. That is the Shabda Brahma. This Shabda Brahma can only be given by the pure. That's why keep on stressing. Hear from the pure devotees, in the association of pure devotees, always we stress. Because the sound, the pure devotion can only come, the Shabda Brahma can only come from the pure devotee. We can't give the Shabda Brahma pure, so without in touch with the pure devotee. So that's why reading Prabhupada's books, hearing from Prabhupada is very important. That will make it transformative. So that's why Sabda Brahma is the key. Of these four, understanding from Vedic scriptures, the sound representations of the absolute truth is the best method. Traditional Vedic students accept understanding through sound to the best. That's what they used to do. Gurukul, you hear from Guru one time on the Shruti Dhara. As soon as you hear, done. You don't even need to hear again. You remember as it is. Because they themselves are teaching the pure thing, then whoever is hearing, Sukadeva Goswami, how many times? Only one time on the Sota Goswami heard. They repeated. Even those who are Brahmavadi, many Brahmavadis, Sukadeva Goswami, he was Brahmavadi, but as soon as born, he heard from Vyasadev's disciples, chanted the two verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, he became pure devotee. And from Brahman realization, he became a personal realization, Bhakti Yogi. The same thing with four Kumaras, by just smelling the Tulsi leaves. The same thing with Nava Yogendras also. In the 11th canto, you will see that instructing Nimi. They also same thing. They heard from Lord Brahma, they heard from Lord Shiva, they heard from four Kumaras also. Three personalities they heard. They just simply heard, hearing from pure devotee. Done. They from Brahmavadi, they became pure devotees. It's easy. Brahman is not that bad. But if you are somehow or other at the mercy of the pure devotee, then very quickly, very rapidly, you are just at the middle. So if you are directly in right association, then they can be transformed very quickly, rapidly. So, but if you touch with Mayavadis or impersonalists, then you will enter into the Brahman Napoleon, then again you will fall down. That will be the problem. So that is what is in actual. Sabda Brahma is the key. That's why transcendental sound vibration is the key. Hearing is the key from this particular chapter. The stool and now Prabhupada is giving an example. The stool and bone of any Vedic scripture reference. Why Sabda Brahma? Because you can say by looking at the face of value of it, or by giving the history, or by giving the other arguments, you can understand this example. The stool and bone of any living entity are considered to be impure, according to Vedic literature. At the same Vedic literature asserts that the cow dung and conch shells are very pure. Apparently, these statements are contradictory. But because cow dung and conch shells are considered pure by the Vedas, they are accepted as pure by the followers of Vedas without argument. You can keep on arguing it, but if you are in the association of pure devotees, you heard from the Sampradaya Acharya, then you can take it. So, sometimes that's why we have to follow our Sampradaya Acharya. Because sometimes even in Sridhar Swami's commentary, also there are few things which is a little bit in a hazy area, which is a little more on the impersonal aspect. So that we don't discuss, we don't accept that particular portion of it. So there are some that's those things Sampradaya Acharya will not give. He knows, but he will not discuss, he will not elaborate, he will not give, because otherwise our mind gets polluted. So that's why we have to hear and read Sampradaya Acharya book, because he knows exactly what we need, at what level we are in, what we need, at what time we need, everything he knows. Accordingly, they present. So that's why we have to go by the what Sampradaya Acharya gives, and his disciples, followers, ardent followers, absorbed followers. If we try to understand this data by indirect interpretation, creating some hypotheses, then we challenge the evidential authority of the Vedic statement. In other words, Vedic statements cannot be accepted according to our imperfect interpretations. They must be accepted as they are, as it is. If they are not accepted, of course, the research was done already. Prabhupada gives, I think, Jagadish Chandra Bose. So, cow dung has so many antiseptic principles and everything. That researches are already done. We don't need to go and research why it is so. So there is no authority in the Vedic statements. According to Lord Chaitanya, those who try to give some personal interpretation of the Vedic statement are not at all intelligent. They mislead their followers by inventing their own interpretation. In India, there is a class of men known as Arya Samajis. There's a past time Mr. Prabhupada was there. I don't remember what time. I think this is in Ujjain. Yeah, somewhere, Ujjain or Bihar, somewhere. Prabhupada meets this particular devotee. His father was Arya Samaji, I think. So later on, when Prabhupada was there, he instructed him, I think he gave his deity, his Chaitanya Mahaprabhu deity, or I think Chaitanya Mahaprabhu deity only, he gave him or something. Or he instructed him, some other, he is engaged in that worship or something for a day or two. When Prabhupada was there, I served him. Later on, then, by the mercy of Prabhupada, then naturally he wanted to worship Gaur-Nitaya. Then gradually he brought the Gaur-Nitaya deity from our ISKCON temple. Then he became naturally, slowly he became Bhakti Yogi by the mercy of Sri Prabhupada. So otherwise, generally, many of them, Arya Samajis, they don't follow the Bhakti Yoga process. They are not most of the time. So they are not personalists. They are more on the impersonalist. So that is what you are seeing here. Who say that they accept the original Vedas only and reject all other Vedic literature. The motive of these people, however, is to give their own interpretation. According to Lord Chaitanya, such interpretations are not to be accepted. They are simply not Vedic. Lord Chaitanya said that the Vedic statements of the Upanishads are like sunlight. Everything is clear and very distinct when it is seen in the sunlight. The statements of Vedas are similarly clear and distinct. Mayavadi philosophers simply cover the sunlight with the cloud of their interpretations. That's what they think. Just like you take the mud pot or you take a paper, you break the paper, everything is done. It is like that only. Now, everywhere it is pervaded, then there is no God. Or you are God, I am God. So like that, they will give interpretation. But it is not like that. The example has to have full length and breadth. Then only that can be considered as a perfect example. So Lord is first verse of Isopran is clearly telling that despite Lord producing everything full, complete, everything is complete. Even after producing, still he is complete. He's not that after he produces, he is finished. He is no more. He's done. It's not like that. Like a paper example. It is not like that. Or you break a pot, within the pot, the sky and earth and everything. And then you break a pot, everything is merged now. This is Brahman Akal. Everything is merged. That means there is no individuality. You are God, I am God, there is no need. But that's not the case either. So that these are the explanations Mayavadis give, especially this earthen pot. So this example they give. So the Lord Chaitanya said that the word Brahman means the greatest, and the greatest should immediately to be understood to refer the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the greatest. The source of, because he is the Vibhu, is the greatest. We are called Anu. We are not called Vibhu. The source of all emanations, unless the greatest processes six opulence in full, the person, he cannot be called the greatest. The greatest is therefore the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, the Supreme Brahman is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, in Bhagavad Gita 10.12, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is accepted by Arjuna as a very famous word, Param Brahma, Param Dham, Pavitram Bhavan. As the Supreme Brahman, the conceptions of the impersonal Brahman and the localized Super Soul are contained within the understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whenever we speak of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we add the word Sri because he is full of opulence. That's why. So his beauty, everything, all the six opulences, indicating that he is full with six opulences. This means that he is eternally a person. If you are not a person, the six opulences could not be present in fullness. Therefore, whenever it is said that supreme absolute truth is in person, that means he doesn't have a material form, he doesn't have material mind, he doesn't have material intelligence, he doesn't have anything material. Everything about him is spiritual. He doesn't have gross body either, he doesn't have subtle body either. Last few days we had mentioned multiple times, but we will repeat again. Lord doesn't have a gross body, Lord doesn't have a subtle body. All he has a spiritual body. In spiritual world, nobody has gross body, nobody has subtle body. It's all only spiritual body. Spiritual mind, spiritual intelligence, spiritual senses. There's no gross, no subtle. So no material, nothing material. Gross and subtle finishes in this material world. When you enter into spiritual world, or some of them like Pandava's example, Sodharma Rani, Draupadi, in those past times you will see that their body became transcendental spiritual in this world itself. They didn't need to transform this material body and into spiritual body when they are entering. Their body already became spiritual here itself, existing body itself. That is exceptional case. But otherwise, general case, the gross body is done, subtle body is done, then it's spiritualized, then you enter into the spiritual world. That is generally the case. Some philosophers have explained him having a no material personality. So in other words, his material personality is denied and his spiritual personality is established. And Prabhupada is quoting Svetaswatra Upanishad, where Lord is having hands and legs, otherwise how is he eating? He is there in Golok Vrindavan, but he's eating. He's accepting everything. How is he accepting? If there's material hand, can we accept like that? No. Then how can we prove? So, but he can accept because based on the Vedanta Sutra, you can accept. So Lord can accept because he has spiritual hands, spiritual eyes. You can eat angani yasu sakalendri vrittimanti pasyanti panti kalen chiram jaganti. Eat with his eyes. He can eat with any of his parts. Any of his parts can do anything. So that is what is explained. We are running out of time. Quickly, which I already mentioned, this particular Chandramayana Patrina is Upanishad. All these Pancharatra Upanishads are already saying that impersonal aspect is all because that is the beginning. Even in the Bhagavad Gita 18 chapter, what Krishna is telling, Brahma Bhota Prasanna Atma Na Sochita Na Kamachati. That is the beginning. Then your real service, transcendental service starts up when you come to that stage. That means you are realizing you are servant of God in a pure original constitutum. That is what Brahman stage means. Then you do the real service without any mixture of any lower modes. So that is what the reality is. That's when. But one who has impersonal aspect, only half 180 degrees instead of 360, then you will enter into Brahman effulgence. Nirbhed Brahma Anusandhan. You merge, you fall down again. Ye anya arvindaksha vimukta tvayasta bhavat avisuddha bhave. Because impure, you haven't attached to the lotus feet of Supreme Lord or is pure devotee. Then naturally you have to come back. So that is what is been explained here by quoting the Upanishad verse. Further, again, this verse also I quoted 14.27 in the beginning itself. That verse, Brahmano Aham Pratistaham, I am the source of the impersonal Brahman. So Prabhupada is quoting all one by one. This is how Acharya explained. Quoting Taittreya Upanishad, this is also another famous verse. Yato va imani bhutani jayante. So cosmic manifestation is emanation of the supreme absolute, rests in the supreme absolute truth. Thus, absolute truth has been here. This is the word I was mentioning. Terms, three terms. Absolute truth has become ablative. That means thinking, feeling, willing is called first section. Then second section causative. That means now he's designing how this universe has to be. Design. He's giving the design. Causative. Then locative. Now he has to. His energy has to be given. Then it can rest. Otherwise, it will fall down. You catch your sand particles in your hand. You remove the hand, it will fall. Same thing. Lord is holding this whole universe. As soon as minute take out his energy, done. It will float like Hiranyaksha did that. It came from Garbhodaka ocean. Then Lord has to put, as Varaha has to bring in, put it in orbit. So it's like that. So Lord has to invest, to put his energy. Then it can hold. So that is what is the last one. Locate the three aspects. For he is the original designer of the cosmos, that is causative, and he is also located, that is everything is resting on. These attributes are clearly attributes of his person. If he is not a person, how can you say attributes? How can you give qualities? If you are person only, you can give qualities. When Shastra says Nirakar is impersonal, means he doesn't have material hand, he doesn't have material legs and everything. We all know Purusha Sukta prayer, that is from Vedas. What is it saying? Saying everywhere is legs, hands, Sahasra Sirsha, Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrapa. So Sahasra Sirsha, that means thousands and thousands of heads all over this universe. His eyes everywhere. So in that way, throughout this, Prabhupada is explaining, giving this particular quotations from various angles. From Srimad Bhagavatam also is explaining the same thing which I quoted 1 to 11. And then Prabhupada is explaining about with 7. And he's quoting at his ending here. Vedanta, that everything can be seen through the authorities of the scriptures. He has quoted a verse from Bhavishya Purana, in which it is stated, and this is Madhvacharya. This is then, I think I quoted before in Ramayana class. In the Valmiki Ramayana beginning itself, Madhvacharya's quotation is there, this particular verse. There is a verse which gives that all these Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samveda, Atharveda, Mahabharata, Pancharatra, Ramayana are actually the Vedic evidence. Actually, Vedic evidence. The Puranas accepted by the Vaishnavas are also considered Vedic evidence. Indeed, whatever is contained in that literature should be taken without argument as ultimate conclusion, and all these literatures proclaim Krishna to be the supreme personality of Godhead. Give me 5 minutes, we will conclude. I'm running out of time because we haven't gone to the real thing, because this we discussed because context only we covered a little bit. So we should cover it so that it's. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the 6th chapter, as it is mentioned. Beautiful pastime of as. So the Gopinath Acharya replied, the Lord's name is Sri Krishna Chaitanya and his sannyas preceptor is greatly fortunate Keshavarthi. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, Sri Krishna is a very good name, but he is coming from Bharati community and second level. My dear Bhattacharya, you do not know the greatness of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All the symptoms of Supreme Personality of Godhead are found in him to the highest degree. Gopinath Acharya continued, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is celebrated as Supreme Personality of God. Those who are ignorant in this connection find the conclusion of knowledgeable man very difficult to understand. The disciples of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya retaliated. And we face this challenge regularly in distributing books or in offices. They will retaliate, argue. By what evidence do you conclude that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord? Disciples of Bhattacharya said, we derive knowledge of absolute truth by logical hypothesis. As Prabhupada gives. So the Gopinath continued, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead only by his mercy, not by guesswork, not by hypothesis. If one receives by a tiny bit of Lord's favor, by dint of devotion service, he can understand the nature of Supreme Personality of Godhead. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace, this is the verse I quoted. So Athapi Te Deva Padam, very famous, Prabhupada quoted many times. That is the real key verse further. This is one section. At the At the request of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Sri Chidambaram Mahaprabhu then explained Atmana verse of Srimad Bhagavatam in 18 different ways. When the Bhattacharya came to his senses, Sri Chidambaram Mahaprabhu disclosed his real identity. Then Bhattacharya then recited 100 verses in praise of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and offered his obeisances. After this, Gopinath Acharya and all others, having seen the wonderful potency of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, became very joyful. One morning after this incident, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu received some prasadam from Jagannath Mandir and offered it to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Without caring for formality, Bhattacharya immediately partook the Mahaprasadam. And another day, when Bhattacharya asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu the best way to worship and meditate, Lord advised him to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Another day, Bhattacharya wanted to change the reading of the text, Tattenu Kampam verse, because he did not like the word Mukti Pade. He wanted to substitute the word with Bhakti Pade. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised Sarvabhauma not to change the reading of Srimad Bhagavatam because Mukti Pade indicated the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Having become a pure devotee, Bhattacharya said, because the meaning is hazy, I still prefer Bhakti Pada. At this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and other inhabitants of Jagannath Puri became very pleased. And all devotees also became very pleased by hearing what has transformed. So these are some of the famous verses. Namo Narayana Bali, Namaskar Kaila, Krishner Matirastu Bali, Gosani Kaila. This is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving this blessing. This is the blessing we should use. 648, very important verse. The previous verses which we quoted. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's exhibiting his ecstasy and how much he is eager to take his darshan. Is also nice verses. Sabai Mali Dari Tanre Sustira Karila Iswara Sevaka Mala Prasadani Dila. When Lord Nityananda Prabhu nearly fainted, all the devotees caught him and studied him. At that time, the priest of Lord Jagannath brought a garland that had offered to the deity and offered to Nityananda Prabhu. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got up and very loudly chanted Hari Hari. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was very pleased to see the Lord regain consciousness, and he took the dust of the Lord's lotus feet. So that's whenever we get the opportunity is to take the dust of Srila Prabhupada and the pure devotees, we should ready to jump as long as they allow you. So then only we can do that. And in this way, it's a very beautiful pastime. So we can only cover some summary version of it. Thank you very much for patiently listening. We'll stop here. Questions, comments, corrections, reflections. Let us know. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya कृपासिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. वैष्णव की जय, प्रभुपाद की जय, सार्वभौम भट्टाचार्य प्रभु की जय. Thank you, Hare Krishna. So, Mr. Prabhu, it's all your questions. You know, yes, Samurtam, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't see your raised. Go ahead. Please accept my respectful obeisances. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Prabhupada. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for the class. And Prabhu, whenever you give class, I'm always amazed the depth of knowledge, and I always wonder, my God, there has to be a serious effort behind all this. So that's very, very, very inspiring. So Prabhu, regarding today's class, I'd like to have a clarification on, you said you gave the example that, Krishna has hands, how would he eat? Yeah. Correct? But we also know that verse from Brahma Samhita, Angani Yasha Shakalendriya, correct? Right. That each of his organs are interchangeable. They could do the function of other organs. Yes. So with this in mind, in one sense, we say he needs hands to eat. But on the other end, it is saying that, he actually doesn't need hands to eat. Our deities in the temple, they see and they can accept, they can taste the food that is prepared for them, bhoga. So how do we understand this, Prabhu? Seemingly different, contradictory.
Right. Because with a material vision, we can't understand, but it's from a spiritual angle. When you're transcendental, everything you can do with any of his parts. Like Chitamani, tree can produce so many things. So anything in the spiritual world can give you anything you want, whether it's a tree or whether it's a stone. So because that's why it's Chintamani Dham. That means it's not just a stone or it's not just a tree. Any person or any river or anything in the spiritual world, if you ask anything, it can produce, because spiritual world is like a touchstone. So Lord also can do. So it's because everything comes from Supreme Lord in that sense. So or you can say that he has energy. He has energy. He has the power. That's why he's Supreme Lord. He can accept any of his parts, any of his limbs. All right. So, but he wants to be really there as a person. Like, so he wants to interact. He wants to accept. He wants to sit down and eat just like we do, with his covered boys, with his Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always in person. He's never alone. He's always taking prasad with his associates as well in person. So that way we can understand. I don't know if any other way I can explain this to
Okay.
make it
Okay.
more appealing or relatable to those who may give some arguments. Yeah,
Mm.
I will give some thought to it.
Thanks, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Anjana here.
No. Thank you, Krishna. Yes.
Prabhuji, yes, you mentioned in the class, like if somebody is not willing to serve or not that much attached or interested in doing any service or doing some service, but then not willing to, and that is some kind of impersonal something you mentioned, right?
Right. Yeah.
But if somebody is willing only to do service and doesn't want to do anything in the personal life, then what is that situation?
That means he hasn't understood bhakti either. But Madhavendra Puri, that's a different story. He can do. That means he has no other duty, has, because for him there is no rules and regulations. If anybody has understood Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is always stressing, do your duty, do your duty. That means your family is your duty, your work is your duty, everything is your duty, because who has given? Krishna has given. Because you have decided, Krishna has given it. Now whose property is that? It is Krishna's property. Then you have to take care, because it is your responsibility, because you have chosen it and Krishna has given it. Then how can you deny it? So if you have questions, confusion, then we consult the devoted spiritual master and we take the lead. But we can't give up any work. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, from third chapter on, Krishna is stressing again and again. Sixth chapter also Krishna is stressing. Even Ashtanga, what it is it? Anasrita karma phalam karyam karoti asasam. Na niragna na chakriya. One who is not lighting up, he is not the yogi. One who is not attached to results is controlling the results. He is the yogi. He is the devotee. Sixth chapter is also very important, but devotee only. More than Ashtanga is devotee only speaking. So externally it looks like he's speaking to Ashtanga, but he's speaking more so for us how devotee should be very controlled in his mind, control of his senses, everything. We don't need to go to Himalayas. Wherever we are, sitting at home, sitting in temple, sitting at work, wherever we can be. But how to cultivate that mind inside our heart and mind and senses, like a yogi. That's what we have to prepare. Not that now we'll start preparing to some pranayama, pratyahara. No. So there's the internal cultivation. So through bhakti, process of bhakti yoga given by Lord Krishna. In that way, we're done. So third chapter also Krishna is saying, don't be a pretender. He's telling Arjuna. Because Arjuna is the one who said, no, I will give up. I'll go to forest. It is better for me. That is generally that we tend to come to that whenever there's a difficulty. We have a difficulty in job, difficulty in family life, or difficulty in some health problem or something or other, then we come to that point. Mind starts thinking, maybe I should give up this.
Yes,
Wherever you go to forest also, same problem will be there. You go to Holy Dham also, same problem will be there, different problem. But problem will be there. You can't avoid problem wherever you go. Prabhupada didn't face a problem. Everywhere he faced problem. Not only in India, when he He is trying to start, no one is helping him. His godfather didn't, no one helped him. When he came to US, didn't he face the problem? He faced beginning also, later on also, middle also, till the end also. But did he give up? No, he never gave up. Prahlad Maharaj, all the devotees, Pandavas, everyone, this shows example that how a devotee should practice. That's why Lord Krishna choosing on the battlefield is perfect. On the battlefield, Krishna is instructing, making sure, become an instrument. I have already done the work. That means Krishna is already empowering us. Empowering us, a father, mother, teacher, guardian, servant leader, whatever. He is already empowering. Empowerment is already there. Now we have to do our duty. Whoever he has given in our life, we should be very satisfied, very happy that Lord has given us some wealth, some family, some work, some job, some friends, whoever. Fortunate, thankful, grateful, and then move on. Be great, be serving the Lord with Lord in the center. Then otherwise will always be negative only. I want to give up this, give up that, and then I want to sit in a holy place. There also you can't do anything. There it is clearly mentioned. Anyone who is sitting in the holy dham, they better be chanting throughout the day, remembering the Lord. How many of them are chanting? How many of them can do it? So that's why unless spiritual master is authorizing you, we should not be jumping to go into the holy place. We are supposed to go only 11 days or something, certain days. Because otherwise your offenses will increase. You'll do other things. You'll do your prajalpa. You'll do so many things. Then what use is that in sitting in holy place doing other prajalpa? It has not much value. It's actually a great offense. So that's why these things has to be considered. So that's why Prabhupada is not right. If Prabhupada is not telling leave this leave this association, leave this temple, leave your family and go. Krishna is not himself is not telling. Then why Prabhupada will tell? Okay. So that is written so many letters to different devotees also. I have given in a previous class to Madhukar Prabhu or Madhukar Prabhu only. It's clearly written. He said that his wife was a devotee, he was a devotee, and he has written, I want to give up. Prabhupada has written big letter. What have you understood? I thought you have understood. Bhakti means this is not the understanding of bhakti. You don't give up just like that. In Vedic knowledge, it's not like that. Things are not. We don't take decisions by our own. Vedic knowledge means you always consult. Pandavas never took a decision on their own. They consulted Dhaumya, they consulted Vyasdev, they consulted others, they consulted Lord Krishna. Yeah, then they progress like that. Ideal practitioner means always consulting is there. Ritual master as representatives of advanced devotee. Anybody who's taking direct decisions independently, then he's not understanding the essence of the bhakti. So we can't give up the duties because you have chosen it. Before you have chosen Grihasthashram, then you don't want to marry, that's a different story. Or you don't want to work, that's a different story. So, but once you have chosen it, then you should maintain it. You should continue it. If there is a problem, then we have to discuss. And with the spiritual master, you have to go by. Once you go to spiritual master, then you cannot give your argument. Once you go there, that means you are surrendering. You want to follow his direction. Most of the time, this is also happening, even at the higher levels also. Once you surrender to, when you come to spiritual master means, you are ready to accept. Then only you go. Otherwise, after going there also, you will give your own argument. No. If he gives the way I am thinking, then I will accept it. If he gives something else, then I will go to somebody else and accept. Then why to go in the first place? That means independent. Too much independence is there. So that whatever you accept, even if it's a difficulty, you have to accept. And that's why spiritual master is there. Then Krishna's mercy will be there. Otherwise, Krishna's mercy cannot come. He's seeing how much we are surrendered, how much we are submitted to spiritual master. Then only our difficulty, then only our ignorance, then only all the obstacles can be removed. Otherwise, Lord Krishna is not ready to remove. So that is the first and foremost thing he's looking at.
So we are supposed to love everything, duties, service,
Yes.
whatever we get in the life, right?
Yeah, nothing is independent. Everything is related to Krishna. So, because your job means you are getting money. You're using in the service of Krishna. You're maintaining family or other families also. You're doing some work, no? They are taking care of your something of yours. They are cooking for you, or they are cleaning, or they are doing something. They are assisting you in some way. Maybe not directly assisting you, but indirectly that means they are helping you. So why not?
Yes, Prabhuji. Uber driver, taxi driver to train station, coming back, dropping, picking.
Yeah, so many things. Yeah. Will you look at so many things will be there. If you always looking at negative things, then there will be 100 negative things. So yeah,
Prabhuji, if somebody is not willing to marry, is that okay?
it's up to them. And then we have to see his situation, and yeah, we have to go by, So what is time, place, occurrence, we have to see. His particular each situation is different. Many times when Prabhupada's disciples has come, but Prabhupada knows exactly. So he may be externally saying it. Many times we have seen also devotees saying that, but his heart is not there. His heart wants to marry, but he's saying externally he doesn't want to marry. These are two different things. So we have to see his behavior. Others can tell. Others can tell. More than him deciding, others can tell whether he actually is ready for that or not. So that has to be considered. Means some other discussion has to happen with others, some senior devotees or some of his close members confidentially. He should seek some advice, then he can decide. Independent decisions is not so good always. Some second opinion should be there always. It will help.
Sure, Prabhuji. Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare
So it
Krishna.
will be premature decision. Premature decision is not good. Many times we take false decision. So because we are not so intelligent, we are not smart enough. So
Prabhuji, sometimes, yes, most, not sometimes, these days, like many times that happens, even if you ask or consult others, they don't give you any suggestion or any idea. These days it's happening a lot. So many people are on their own, so they have to make decision on their own. Like earlier, people used to be very helpful, but that thing is decreasing day by day. So now people are just like independent. Many like family members or friends I have seen, including myself.
but most of the examples are there. For your question also, there are many past tenses also Prabhupada. Prabhupada knew what this person, what this devotee has, what his quality has. Accordingly, for some who doesn't have quality, then Prabhupada is trying to put him to the next level as sannyas, and then other devotee made him, turned him into a, grihastha. Then Prabhupada chastised him like anything. Senior devotee, senior disciple of Prabhupada. Just who has, what right we have to make him, turn him into like that? Prabhupada was, it became so upset with that. So that's why sometimes you have to see, you have to go by, listen to Prabhupada's letters. There are so many letters like that, Prabhupada past times, and see what Prabhupada says, how Prabhupada dealt with these things. We have to always introspection has to be there, but always second opinion has to be considered. Or we look at Prabhupada's lectures or Prabhupada's examples, anything is there, then we can consider. Yeah. And you have to go by, if you are reaching out to somebody, that person also has to be, some credibility has to be there. Like if it is Grihastha problem, you consult a Grihastha devotee who has practiced and who has knowledge and who is experienced, who has dealt with, then you consult. So depending on the problem, you have to consult particular devotee who is experienced in that. Accordingly, you can get the. Because otherwise, you consult anybody and everybody, they will give 100 answers. Then which one you will choose? Then you will be in dilemma now. What they think, if I don't follow, then what they will think. So those things will come. But you should make that. So, but if you read Prabhupada's books and Prabhupada's lectures, you will know exactly whom to reach out, when, and everything will be very clear. There will not be any confusion about it. Prabhupada makes it very clear for everything. And Krishna will also give intelligence, proper intelligence in this decision making.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
I think we'll end. We're already time way over. Yeah. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. Anurag Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Gopal jai.